Yeah, first off, I want to thank the fans. That was a phenomenal environment. I thought, showing up in numbers like that gave our guys the confidence and the courage to go out there and, give a pretty, substantial effort. So appreciate them. They always show up, and, I really wanted to win that game for them. So, appreciate them showing up and showing out. To be down 7 or 8 points 4 different times, and for that team to find a way to come back and put themselves in position to win the game, was tremendous, and obviously incredibly proud of their effort in that area. Keyshawn Hall once again with a double-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds. It was good to see Tahaad make some big shots again, and look more like himself. Those guys played heavy minutes, but I felt like they had to. You look at the step up from those two freshmen. CNET goes 8 for 10, and Flemings goes 8 for 13. And I thought they both made 3 or 4 shots that we really were happy with them taking. Fleming obviously made a really tough 3 at the end of the half, and CNET, hadn't shot the ball great so far from 3 this year, and he obviously made 2 really big ones. And I thought, obviously at the end of the game, we missed 12 free throws. That's the difference in the game right there. If we go ahead and make our free throws, it's a different ball game. So thought our guys, played their tails off. Thought they did a really good job of limiting their turnovers. Houston only had 6 offensive rebounds in the first half. For them to have 14 offensive rebounds in a game where they missed 37 shots. I thought our guys did a pretty good job, in that area. I just thought we had too many live ball turnovers that led to transition. I think if we make our free throws, it's a different ball game. But obviously, proud of my guys and the effort that they showed. We expected to win the game. Moral victories are for losers. So don't ask me a question about no, I don't. Because I told our guys that I thought we were the better team, and I have elite confidence in this group. But for us, it's about what we do from here. So, I'll take any questions from you guys.
Stephen, the defense late to come up with stop after stop, not having full strength with KeShawn not out there. Just how big was that? How much fight did you feel like, especially in that situation you guys showed?
Yeah, I thought the last 355. I thought our guys did a really good job of just sitting down and guarding, and they made a ton of one-on-one plays, and we got exposed a little bit in the 12-minute area through the 4-minute area in the second half, where we just let those guys get downhill and get to the basket. And I thought in the last 4 minutes we did a much better job of, 1, sitting down and guarding, but then 2, we plugged gaps a little bit better. We weren't as hugged up onto our man off the ball, and once we started doing that, obviously we forced them into turnovers. They had a bunch of turnovers late, because we were plugging gaps and we were loads to the ball and we were guarding the way we were supposed to. So, I thought late our guys obviously made some plays defensively, and gave us an opportunity to go out there and win the game.
Steve, talk about KeShawn. He's probably not 100%. Some assists, rebounds. What did he bring on the offensive end?
Yeah, he just brings an elite energy and confidence and passion to our players. And having him back out there was so good. 30 minutes after a couple injuries, he has so much grit, and he's just so important to our team, and played a really solid game. I thought defensively did a really good job moving his feet, 3 assists, no turnovers, 5 rebounds, but I think what he did such a good job of was boxing his man out and not letting his guy, get second chance opportunities. So, he's a warrior, he's a fighter, and he's obviously going to be a big piece moving forward. So, it was great to have him back out there. And did you get hurt again? You good? Okay. I'm just glad he's not freaking hurt again. So, he's been battling injuries, since he got to Auburn, and but for him, he just consistently stays locked in on his treatment, on his rehab, and he doesn't let it get him down. So, really proud of him, and obviously excited to watch, his growth over these next couple months.
Nathan and Peter. I know you probably don't have an update on Key right after the fact, but how much did it hurt not having him out there for the last 4 minutes or so, considering he goes 8 of 8 from the foul line in this game as well?
Yeah, he I don't know, we were down 6, I think, when he went out, made 2 free throws. So I thought our guys did a really good job of picking him up and playing well without him. Played the last 4 or 5 minutes without him, and had an opportunity at the end of the game to win. So I think our plus minus was a positive when he went out of the game. So that's a credit to our guys, and it's just next man up mentality. So they were locked in, and defensively, made a lot of plays. And but yeah, I mean, he's obviously a guy that late in the game, would be another good option that would get downhill and draw contact and potentially get to the foul line. So, but I thought our guys did a phenomenal job of stepping up and responding, when he went down.
How do you feel like you guys just, matched Houston's physicality? The rebounding margin was about the same, and you guys got to the foul line. How do you feel like matched physicality was?
Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of respect for what they do. I have a ton of respect for their toughness, for their culture, for their physicality, but that's what we've been doing for the last 8 years. That's what our identity's been too. So appreciate you guys talking about that and really focusing on it. But that's what Auburn basketball's been for 8 years now, and that was our emphasis going into this game. Like, we rebound too, right? We guard physically too. We fly around too, and I told our guys, like, the expectation is to win the game, not play the game close. And obviously really disappointed that we came up short. But for them to only get 14 offensive rebounds and for us to only turn the ball over 8 times, those were 2 areas that were really important to us. And that's a team that doesn't shoot a ton of free throws. So it wasn't something that they go into the game really. They don't really do what we do, right? So I'm not surprised that we outshot them at the foul line. I thought the margin, was about what it should have been, because we did a really good job of, decreasing the space that, they had defensively to draw contact and get to the foul line. And I thought we earned all of our free throws. And, obviously we got to we can't miss 12. We got to make, at least 6 of those. And then obviously it's a different ball game. But that's been our identity, and that's been our culture too for a very long time, and it will continue to do so.
Coach, you spoke on not supporting moral victories, but where did you see your team grow tonight?
I've seen my team grow a lot since the Bethune-Cookman game. I told them that in the locker room, like, how much better have we gotten in the last couple weeks? We've gotten a lot better. I think they've done a really good job of locking into the scouting report and doing the things that we need to do. But, I still have my expectations for this team are really high. Like, and I think that showed tonight. But, I think there were some controllable things that, we didn't handle. I thought, what was it? So they had 11 second chance points in the second half. They had 0 in the first half. It's a big difference in the game, right? And I think that, that's a controllable. Okay, so I'm disappointed in my guys for not having that same attention to detail in the second half. We stood up the first 5 possessions of the first half. We got caught standing up multiple times, and that's where they got confidence offensively, where they were able to, take advantage of. So I mean, there's still a lot of room for improvement and a lot of room for growth, but my guys did what I thought they would do. So I'm not going to sit here and ooh rah rah, and that's what I expected, and they delivered on it. But from here, what do we do next? Are we going to pout about this, or are we going to get together on Monday and be ready to get better? Okay, that's one win doesn't define a season. This is why you play these games, right? We learned a lot about ourselves. We learned that, we have a chance to be pretty good, okay, if we continue to do the things that I know we're capable of and they know that they're capable of, and just continue to build and trust each other. And if we do that, we'll be okay.
Coach, Houston's lead never got larger than 8. You mentioned there were a couple of times where Auburn had to have an answer, and it felt like every single time in those situations, you guys did respond to something. What did you see in your team in those moments when Houston was on the verge of growing the lead in the margin?
One of the things we talked about, in the scout, and I really tried to emphasize this, is whether you're up 8 or you're down 8, you can't panic against these guys, because they can go on some stretches where they go on a dry spell offensively. If we just continue to defend and rebound and do the little things that we need to do, right, we can get back into games. But also, if we get up 8, their defense is so good that they can get back into games really quickly. So I think my guys did a good job of hearing that message, and they didn't panic. There was no panic in that locker room. It was more them just talking to each other and just trying to get on to the next play. So, to be able to come back from a 7 to 8 point deficit 4 different times just show that these guys trust each other and, are connected. But, we just that's what we're supposed to do. And, it just shows that, our guys have a lot of grit, and there's not a lot of panic out there. And, there's a lot of guys that we can rely on to go out there and make big shots and get big stops and get big rebounds. So, obviously proud of them for staying in the fight and not letting that lead get more than what it needed to be.
Last one for the coach. Go.
Stephen, considering their moral victories are for losers, did you get the looks that you wanted to get at the end of the game?
Yeah, I thought Tahaad did a really good job of splitting the ball screen and getting downhill. And all we talked about in practice and in our teaching points was to play off 2 feet. He plays off 2 feet. He shot fakes, right? They jump, and then you decrease the space and create contact. And that's exactly what he did, right? So he was locked in to what we were trying to tell him to do. So I'm really happy with that look. And then at the very end, I thought we had to drop a side OB to get Murph a look late, gets his hands on the ball, and gets a shot up. So I thought the execution was really good late in the game where, with 8 seconds, we're able to get all the way downhill to the rim, right? Play off 2 feet, shot fake, get him in the air like we talked about all week, right? And create contact. And then with 1 second left to be able to get our hands on a ball, to have an opportunity to make a shot, I thought our guys did a really good job of executing in a difficult situation.
All right, Coach Burrow, thank you. If you have a question for players, raise your hand. Ted here in green shirt, we'll get you a mic. Got one in the back, you on the back.
Tahaad, when you hit that first 3 of the game, you had a lot of emotion. It seemed like you were really looking to get that one to fall, maybe to get some feel back. Can you describe what it felt like today, seemingly having your shot back?
Obviously it felt good, just knowing that the type of game it was. Obviously the past couple games my shot hasn't been falling like I wanted to. So just knowing that I've been working on it consistently since our last game, seeing that one fall just gave me a lot of confidence for the rest of the game.
For Murph, just can you walk me through that last play, what your assignment was, and just how it didn't go in the hoop?
Yes, was very confident in me going up to get the ball from Elijah, and I went up and got it. Maybe it should have been more closer to the rim on my end, but they made a good play on the ball, and it didn't go our way.
For both of you guys, we just heard what Stephen's message, the expectation of this program and you guys competing in games like this. How much do you guys embrace that mentality that even though you're going against the #1 team in the country, your expectation is to go out there and win?
Every day we show up to the gym and we think that we can compete with anybody in the country. Obviously last year, having the team we had, a bunch of older guys. This year it's different, a bunch of younger guys. But I feel like we can compete with anybody. As you can see tonight, we came out late in the game, we lost key, but we still fought, and against a great team, we lost by 1. I think if we just keep it up, every day we show up and get better, we can really shock the world.
Murph, how you feeling after this? 31 minutes after not playing the last couple games, knowing the injuries you've been through. How are you feeling? How did you feel about your performance tonight?
I gotta get myself back working to things. I'm glad I was able to battle with these guys, and I'm not worried about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be all right. My body's gonna, get ready for the season, and I'm gonna take care of myself. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Being able to fight for these guys is what heals me, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be all right. Thanks to Coach Pearl, get me in there, give me some reps, and get me ready for what's coming next.
Murph, you've been around, seen a lot. How do you think this team is evolving with its new coach?
Best thing about it is we take the coaching, and we know that everything they're saying is what's best for us. So we don't, you know what I'm saying? We don't go about things the wrong way. We here to learn, and the coaching doesn't mean anything. Like he said, he held us to a high standard, and we're gonna live by that. Every game, every day we come in, we're gonna live by that. We're gonna come in and be exactly who he wants us to be and who he held us up to a standard to be.
Question for both of you guys. You've been in big games before in your college basketball careers. You have some teammates who are new to Division I basketball. This was the biggest game they've played so far. What did you think of how they showed up in the moment and as Stephen said, didn't panic?
As you can see, I feel like everybody stepped up and they understood what they needed to do today. Me, Murph, KO, and KeShawn, we all obviously had some type of experience with Houston or seen something, so we were just trying to feed it to the guys and let them know, what was coming and what to be ready for. And I feel like everybody understood it and came out ready to play today.
Last one right here. Yep. Go ahead.
Hot defense late for y'all to string together those stops, late in the game. What was the key to that, and kind of hanging in there and giving you guys a chance to win it at the end?
Just going down a player, obviously in that type of situation, just brought us closer. In practice, we work on situations like that, being down and just coming together as a team, and that was our main focus, our main thing, just to stay together in the big situations, and that's what we did, and we got stops when we needed to, and just couldn't convert, obviously, at the end of the game.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.